Hey there, amazing fans! Before we dive into today's drama, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support means the world to us. Now, welcome to another relaxing moment with Sugar Stories. Grab a seat, sit back, relax, and let's journey into the story together. Elena Martinez had always imagined homecoming as a comforting embrace, the familiarity of her modest suburban house welcoming her back with open arms. After 3 weeks on a luxurious Mediterranean cruise, where every whim was indulged and every sunset painted her evenings with gold, she was ready for simplicity. A steaming cup of chamomile, her faithful tabby cat Bella curled on her lap, and the quiet rustle of wind through the maple tree out front. The taxi's tires crunched on the driveway, pulling her back from her reverie. She fumbled for her wallet to pay the driver, her mind preoccupied with to-do lists, groceries to restock, laundry to wash, and catching up with neighbors. But as the driver lifted her suitcase from the trunk, he paused. "Ma'am, are you sure this is your house?" he asked, glancing uneasily at the scattered boxes on the porch. Elena's heart dropped. She stepped out into the damp evening air, her heels clicking sharply on the concrete. Rain misted down, coating her carefully set hair with a veil of droplets. She squinted through the gathering gloom and saw her belongings, familiar, cherished items, dumped unceremoniously on the front steps. Cardboard boxes sagged under the weight of damp linens, photo albums bulged with moisture, and her favorite blue suitcase lay open, its contents spilling onto the concrete like a broken promise. With shaking hands, Elena reached for a piece of paper taped to the suitcase. The rain had blurred the ink, but the message was unmistakable. "Elena, you've had your time. We need the space now. You can move into the shed if you like. Your daughter-in-law, Harper." Elena's breath caught in her throat. She tried her keys, but they no longer fit the lock. She stared at the mailbox, her nameplate, once etched with pride, was gone. She rang the doorbell. No answer. She knocked, called out, even tried calling Liam's phone, but it rang unanswered. Her mind swirled with disbelief. How could this happen? She had been paying the mortgage for years, ever since her husband, Roberto, had passed away. Hadn't she sacrificed enough for Liam and Harper? The driver, now growing impatient, hovered nearby. "Do you need me to call someone, ma'am?" he offered softly. Elena shook her head, pride stifling her voice. "No, thank you. I'll manage." As the taxi drove away, leaving her standing alone in the drizzle, Elena gathered her scattered belongings with a trembling determination. She stacked boxes, repacked her suitcase, and dragged everything to the covered porch to escape the worst of the rain. Her clothes were soaked, her shoes ruined, but she refused to let the neighbors see her cry. Not yet. Finally, she sat on the damp steps, her arms wrapped tightly around her knees. The realization struck her like a punch. Her own family had turned her out. The house she and Roberto had built from the ground up, the home where they had raised Liam, where laughter and love had once filled the rooms, was no longer hers. Anger flared in her chest, momentarily eclipsing the hurt. Harper's dismissive note echoed in her mind, mocking her. She glanced at her phone. 1% battery. Desperation clawed at her throat as she scrolled through contacts, trying Liam again, then Harper, then even Mia, her granddaughter. No answer. As the drizzle turned into a steady downpour, her phone's screen blacked out. She was alone, stranded, and cut off. Across the street, porch lights flicked on. Mrs. Rosen, her elderly neighbor, peeked out through lace curtains. For a moment, Elena considered crossing the street and asking for help. But shame rooted her to the spot. What would she say? That her own son had evicted her while she was away? That she had been naive enough to trust him with the house? Finally, her pride gave way to survival. She stood, wiped her sodden hair from her face, and squared her shoulders. She would not spend the night on the porch like discarded luggage. With a determined breath, she dragged her suitcase to the curb, scanning for a taxi or even a rideshare. When none appeared, she began walking, each step heavy with the weight of betrayal. As she trudged through the rain, headlights approached. A familiar sedan pulled up beside her, the window rolling down. "Elena? What are you doing out here?" It was Tasha, her best friend and confidant. Elena's composure finally cracked. Tears streamed down her cheeks, mingling with the rain. "They've locked me out, Tasha. Harper and Liam, they threw my things out. They changed the locks. They left me with nothing." Tasha's face tightened with fury. "Get in the car. We're going to figure this out." As Elena climbed into the warm, dry car, her hands trembling, she realized something with chilling clarity. The battle for her home and her dignity had just begun. Elena sat in Tasha's kitchen, her clothes damp and her spirit in tatters. The familiar scent of lavender and fresh-baked bread should have been comforting, but tonight it only reminded her of everything she had lost. The ticking of the clock on the wall was deafening against the silence. Tasha, bustling around in her usual motherly fashion, poured Elena a glass of wine and set it down gently. "You need this more than anyone." Elena took the glass with trembling hands, her fingers barely holding onto the stem. "I can't believe they did this," she whispered. "I trusted them. Liam, Harper, they threw me out like I was nothing." Tasha sat down across from her, her eyes soft with sympathy. "They've always been self-serving. But this is cold even for them. What are you going to do?" "I don't know," Elena admitted. "I've been paying the mortgage. But I thought it was a family thing, you know? I signed over the house to Liam because it made sense at the time after Roberto passed. But I kept making the payments. I didn't want them to struggle. I wanted to help them. And now, they've betrayed me." Tasha's eyes narrowed. "Wait a minute. You've been paying the mortgage, but you don't own the house anymore." She grabbed her phone and tapped on it. "This sounds fishy. Let's call Devin. He's working late tonight, but he's good. If there's a way to fight this, he'll know." Moments later, Devin's voice crackled through the speaker. "Tasha? Everything okay?" Tasha didn't waste time. "Devin, I need your legal brain. Elena's been paying the mortgage on a house she doesn't technically own anymore. Liam and Harper just kicked her out while she was on vacation. Can she do anything about it?" There was a long pause. "Let me get this straight," Devin said finally. "Elena, you signed the house over to your son, but you kept making the mortgage payments. Was there a formal agreement about this?" Elena sighed. "No, it was verbal. Family. I trusted them. I didn't think I needed paperwork to protect myself." Devin's voice hardened. "That might work in your favor. If you've been paying the mortgage and there's proof, bank statements, payment records, that could demonstrate a verbal contract. It might not be ironclad, but it's leverage. And if they can't afford the mortgage without your payments, they're in a tight spot. I'd recommend stopping payments immediately. It'll force them to deal with the bank directly." Elena's hands trembled as she absorbed the weight of Devin's words. "So, I can stop the payments and let the bank handle them? That feels cruel." Tasha's voice was firm. "Cruel? They threw your things out like garbage, Elena. This isn't about being cruel, it's about standing up for yourself. They put you in this position. You didn't choose this." Devin added, "Also, if they miss payments and the bank starts foreclosure proceedings, you might be able to negotiate a deal to buy the house back. Depending on how the paperwork was handled, you might even have a case to sue them for damages." Elena's mind raced. Betrayal warred with guilt and fear. Could she really stand against her own son? And yet, Liam had stood silently by while Harper wrote that note. He'd let her belongings be dragged out into the rain. Her chest tightened as she imagined Mia, her granddaughter, watching her parents discard her grandmother like an inconvenience. "I'll do it," she whispered, her voice gaining strength. "I'll stop the payments. Let's see how long they last without me." Tasha reached across the table, her hand covering Elena's. "That's the spirit. And you're not alone in this. We'll fight them together." Devin's voice softened. "Elena, I'll put together a letter outlining your rights and your intention to stop payments. If they try to push back, we'll be ready. Get me copies of your payment records, bank statements, and anything else that shows you were making those payments." Elena nodded. The sting of betrayal hadn't lessened, but the fog of confusion was lifting. For the first time that night, she felt a spark of hope. She wasn't powerless. She could fight back. As she sipped her wine, the knot of despair in her chest loosened slightly. Tasha's phone buzzed again. It was a message from Devon, a draft of the letter, already prepared. Tasha read it aloud. Dear Liam and Harper, this letter is to formally notify you that effective immediately, I am ceasing mortgage payments on the property located at. Elena listened, each word sinking into her bones. The formal tone, the legal precision, it was the armor she needed. She felt her spine straighten, her shoulders square. Harper and Liam might have underestimated her, but they would soon realize that she was not someone to discard so easily. As the clock struck midnight, Tasha and Elena sat side by side, mapping out the next steps. The battle lines had been drawn, and Elena, bolstered by friendship and legal firepower, was ready to fight for what was rightfully hers. The night after the confrontation, Elena found herself lying awake in Tasha's guest room. The darkness pressed in on her, broken only by the faint glow of the streetlights outside the window. Her mind raced with plans and regrets. She tried to focus on the support Devon and Tasha had offered, but the betrayal cut deep. In the morning, Tasha greeted her with a strong cup of coffee and a reassuring smile. Today's a new day. Let's take the next step. Elena nodded, still feeling the weight of the previous day's revelations. She knew she couldn't sit idly by while Liam and Harper took everything from her. With Devon's advice echoing in her mind, she resolved to take action. I need to go back. I need to face them. Tasha gave her a look that was both worried and supportive. Are you sure you want to face them today? Elena's jaw tightened. Yes. I need to see them, to make them understand I'm not backing down. Devon called mid-morning to confirm he had the documents ready. You'll need these, he said, his voice steady. And remember, keep your cool. Let them dig their own hole. Elena squared her shoulders, dressed in her best clothes, and left for her old home with Tasha driving her. As they pulled up to the curb, she saw Harper through the window, laughing with a friend, her voice floating through the open window. Liam appeared behind her, his face pinched with worry. The sight twisted a knife in Elena's chest. She stepped out of the car, Tasha close behind. Harper's laughter stopped as she noticed them approaching. Oh, look who's back, she said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Liam shifted uncomfortably. Mom, what are you doing here? Elena's voice was calm but steely. I'm here because this is my house. I have documents showing I've been paying the mortgage. You're in over your heads and you know it. If I stop paying, you'll lose everything. Harper sneered. You wouldn't dare. You wouldn't ruin your own family. Elena's eyes flashed. Family? You threw me out like garbage. Don't talk to me about family. Liam stepped forward, his voice cracking. We're sorry, Mom. We didn't mean for it to go this far. We just... Tasha cut in, her voice sharp. You didn't mean for it? You wrote her a letter kicking her out while she was on vacation. That's not an accident, Liam. Harper's face twisted in anger. She was always meddling. We needed space. We were going to flip the house and make something for ourselves. Elena's voice was low but fierce. You've been living off me. Without my payments, the bank will come for you. And they won't care about your plans for flipping the house or Harper's art studio. This is your mess. Fix it. The confrontation drew the attention of neighbors, who peeked out from behind curtains and over fences. Murmurs of disapproval rippled through the quiet suburban street. Liam's face flushed red with embarrassment. Tasha whispered to Elena, You're doing great. Don't back down now. Elena continued, I'm giving you one chance. Either we come to an agreement, or I'll let the bank handle it. And trust me, you won't like how that turns out. Harper's defiance wavered. What do you want? Elena's eyes locked onto hers. I want you to acknowledge what you've done. Admit you can't handle the mortgage without me. I'll consider resuming payments if we come to a fair agreement. Otherwise, I'm done. Liam's shoulders sagged. Let's talk inside. Inside the house, Harper continued to argue, but Liam's resistance crumbled as Devon's legal documents outlined their precarious position. Elena's firm stance and the possibility of legal action finally broke through their arrogance. As the meeting ended, Harper stormed upstairs, slamming the door, while Liam trailed behind Elena, defeated. As they left, Tasha squeezed Elena's arm. You were amazing. They're scared now. They know you're serious. Elena managed a small smile. This isn't over. But it's a start. That night, as she sat with Tasha and Devin over takeout Chinese food, Elena felt the shift. She wasn't just a victim anymore. She was fighting back, reclaiming her life and dignity one step at a time. The morning dawned with a pale, steely light filtering through Tasha's guest room window. Elena awoke with a knot of anxiety in her stomach, but as the memory of the confrontation with Liam and Harper returned, she felt a steely resolve begin to form. Today, she would confront them formally and lay her terms on the table. She couldn't let them continue to control her home, her life, and her dignity. Tasha bustled into the room, balancing a tray of coffee and croissants. "Big day," she said, offering a reassuring smile. Elena sat up, taking the coffee with a grateful nod. "I'm ready, Tasha." Devin said he's drafting the formal notice. "Today, we set the terms." Tasha sat on the edge of the bed. "You've come so far, Elena. I'm proud of you. You're not just getting your house back, you're getting your life back." After breakfast, they met Devin at his office. He handed Elena a thick manila envelope. "This contains the formal notice of your intent to halt mortgage payments and claim restitution. The documentation clearly shows your payments over the years. We also highlight the absence of any legal documentation supporting Liam and Harper's claim." Elena glanced over the papers, her pulse quickening. "And if they refuse?" Devin's lips curved in a thin smile. "Then we proceed to court. The evidence is solid. It's their word against your documented payments. They'll either settle or lose the house." With Devin and Tasha flanking her, Elena returned to her old home. She stepped onto the porch with her head held high. This time, there was no fear, only the steady weight of justice on her side. Harper answered the door, her expression twisted in a mixture of irritation and feigned innocence. "Oh, it's you again." Liam appeared behind her, his eyes shadowed with guilt. We didn't expect you back so soon." Elena's voice was clear and unwavering. "I'm here because this is my house and I have the paperwork to prove it. I've stopped the mortgage payments. The bank will foreclose, and you'll be left with nothing unless we come to an agreement." Harper's laugh was brittle. "You're bluffing. You wouldn't ruin your own family." Devin stepped forward, his tone professional and sharp. "It's no bluff. The documents speak for themselves. The bank will act quickly. Without those payments, you'll be in default within weeks. If the house is foreclosed, your credit will be ruined, and you'll lose any equity you thought you had." Liam's face turned pale. "Harper, we can't afford that. We can't even make the next payment without Mom's help." Elena's gaze locked onto Harper's. "I gave you a home. I paid the bills. You threw me out like trash. Now you'll deal with the consequences." Harper's defiance faltered. "What do you want?" "I'll resume the payments," Elena said, her voice calm and measured, "but only if you agree to sell me the house for the remaining mortgage balance. That's your best option. Otherwise, the house goes into foreclosure, and you'll walk away with nothing." Liam's shoulders sagged in defeat. "She's right, Harper. We can't fight this." Harper's lips pressed into a thin line. "Fine," she spat. "But you'll regret this, Elena." Elena smiled, a small, satisfied smile. "The only thing I regret is trusting you in the first place." As they left the house, the neighborhood watched, sensing the shift in power. Devin nodded approvingly. "Well done, Elena. They've got no choice now." Back at Tasha's, they toasted with glasses of wine. "To new beginnings," Tasha said. Elena felt the weight lift from her shoulders. For the first time in weeks, she allowed herself to believe in a future where she was no longer a victim, but a survivor. She knew the fight wasn't over, but today, she had won a major battle. Elena sat on the edge of Tasha's couch, watching the first morning light creep through the windows. The silence of the house was comforting, but it also gave her too much time to think. The weight of the previous day's confrontation with Liam and Harper still lingered, but with it came an unexpected sense of liberation. For the first time in years, she wasn't tied to the suffocating demands of her ungrateful family. Tasha appeared, a steaming mug of tea in hand. "You didn't sleep, did you?" Elena accepted the mug gratefully. No. My mind's been racing. I feel different. Lighter. Like I finally see the truth. You should. You were amazing yesterday. Harper and Liam didn't see you coming. I think I didn't see me coming either, Elena murmured, her gaze distant. For years, I let them take advantage of me. I paid the mortgage because I thought it was the right thing to do. But they didn't appreciate it. They used it. They used me. Tasha sat down beside her. It's not too late to start over. You've got friends who care about you. And you've got skills. You're smart, resourceful, and kind. Don't let them break you. I won't, Elena said, her voice stronger. In fact, I've already decided. I'm going to find a job. Something to get me back on my feet. I can't depend on anyone else anymore. Tasha beamed. That's the spirit. And I think I know just the place. Sunny's Cafe. Remember? You worked there as a teenager. They've been looking for help. A flicker of nostalgia crossed Elena's face. Sunny's Cafe? I haven't thought about that place in years. Well, think about it now, Tasha urged. You'd be perfect there. And it's not just a job. It's a fresh start. Encouraged, Elena called Sunny's that morning and arranged for an interview. She found herself smiling, something she hadn't done in days. Tasha lent her a smart blouse and a pair of slacks, and together, they rehearsed answers to potential interview questions. By the time she left for the cafe, Elena felt more prepared than she had in years. Sunny's Cafe was as welcoming as she remembered. The scent of coffee and baked goods filled the air, and the warm chatter of customers reminded her of a simpler time. She was greeted by the owner, a cheerful woman named Marcy, who recognized her instantly. Elena, it's been years. What brings you here? I'm looking for work, Elena said, her voice steady. I heard you were hiring, and I'd love the opportunity. Marcy's eyes sparkled. Of course. I'd love to have you. Let's get you started. Within hours, Elena found herself behind the counter, taking orders and serving coffee. The work was physically demanding, but the sense of purpose it gave her was worth every aching muscle. By the end of her first shift, her cheeks were flushed, her hair a little messy, but her heart felt full. As she walked back to Tasha's that evening, she couldn't help but smile. She had taken her first real step toward rebuilding her life. Meanwhile, back at her old home, Liam and Harper were feeling the pressure. Without Elena's payments, they struggled to keep up with the mortgage. Harper's art studio renovation stalled, the contractor threatening to walk off the job if he wasn't paid. Liam's credit cards were maxed out, and the reality of their financial instability loomed large. One night, as Harper sat in her half-finished studio, she fumed. This is all her fault. She left us in the lurch. Liam rubbed his temples. No, Harper. This is our fault. We took advantage of her. We thought we could flip the house and use her money to do it. But now we're drowning. Harper's expression turned cold. We need to do something. We can't let her win. But Liam had no more fight left in him. She's not the enemy, Harper. We did this to ourselves. Back at Tasha's, Elena sat at the kitchen table with Tasha and Devin, reviewing the latest paperwork. Devin explained how her payments could be used as evidence of a verbal contract and outlined the steps to reclaim ownership. Elena listened carefully, absorbing every detail. I'm ready, she said at last. Let's make this official. Tasha raised her glass in a toast. To taking back what's yours. Elena clinked her glass against Tasha's and Devin's. She knew there were still challenges ahead, but for the first time in a long while, she felt hopeful. As she drifted off to sleep that night, Elena dreamed not of betrayal, but of a new beginning, one she would build with her own two hands. Elena sat at the polished oak dining table in Tasha's warmly lit living room, the thick envelope Devin had handed her spread open before her. The crisp white pages of the legal notice gleamed under the soft lamplight. Devin's voice was calm but firm, almost like a general briefing a commander before battle. This letter makes it very clear, he said, pushing his glasses up the bridge of his nose. Liam and Harper have exactly 14 days to accept your offer, selling the house for the remaining mortgage balance. If they refuse or ignore it, foreclosure proceedings begin immediately. The bank won't hold off indefinitely. Elena's fingers trembled slightly as she traced the paragraphs with her eyes. So, this is my last chance to reclaim what's mine without dragging them through a court battle? She asked. Devin nodded. You're giving them a lifeline. It's tough but fair. Tasha, sitting beside Elena, offered a supportive squeeze on her shoulder. You've done everything right, Elena. You've got the law and us on your side. Elena sighed. I just didn't think it would come to this. Family, turning on me like this. Families fracture, Devin said quietly, but money can either fix or break those fractures. Right now, it's breaking them. The next morning dawned cold and gray. Elena stood just outside her home, the house that had been hers for decades, her late husband's legacy. The front yard was quiet, except for the rustle of dead leaves in the breeze. From inside, the door creaked open. Harper stepped out first, her arms crossed, lips pressed into a thin line. Liam lingered behind, his hands shoved deep into his jacket pockets, eyes downcast. Elena straightened her shoulders and called out, Harper. Liam. They looked up, startled. I sent you the letter yesterday, Elena said, her voice steady but sharp. Have you made your decision? Harper scoffed. You don't get to make decisions anymore. You lost that right when you stopped showing up. Elena felt the sting but held her ground. I've been paying this mortgage every month, Harper. You think I stopped? I was here. Just not in your sight. Liam stepped forward hesitantly. We never wanted to hurt you. Never wanted to hurt me? Elena's laugh was bitter. You tossed me out like garbage. You erased my name from the mailbox. You changed the locks and hid the keys. Harper glared. We're trying to build a future here. We need this space for the art studio. Elena's payments have been keeping this house afloat, Liam admitted softly. Without her, we're underwater. Harper spat. She's playing the victim. Elena's eyes blazed. Playing the victim? But I'm playing the owner. And I'm offering you a deal. Liam swallowed. What kind of deal? Elena pulled a folded sheet of paper from her coat pocket. Sell me the house for the remaining mortgage balance. No profit, no markup. $120,000. You get cash to start fresh and I get my home back. If you refuse, the bank forecloses in 2 weeks. Harper's face flushed red with rage. That's ridiculous. The house is worth 3 times that now. Elena's voice was calm, but her words cut like knives. Good luck finding a buyer before the bank takes it. Foreclosure will ruin your credit. Your flipping dream will collapse. Liam looked torn between anger and despair. You don't understand, we're desperate. Elena stepped closer, voice low and fierce. Then stop betraying me. Take the deal or lose everything. Your choice. Harper hissed, you're a nightmare. I'm a reality check, Elena replied. Later that day, Tasha and Devin joined Elena in her temporary room at Tasha's house. Do you think they'll take it? Elena asked, swirling her tea. Devin shrugged. I don't know. Pride and desperation make strange bedfellows. Tasha sighed. They're scared. And scared people make mistakes. Elena nodded. I've been scared too. But this is my home. My fight. Devin smiled slightly. Good. Because now, the power play begins. Days crept by like slow-moving shadows. Liam and Harper didn't respond to the letter. Elena's phone buzzed incessantly, bank calls, reminders, ominous foreclosure warnings. The tension tightened like a noose around her chest. Then one gray afternoon, Harper stormed through the door at Tasha's house, face flushed, eyes wild. We accept your deal, she spat, slamming a crumpled envelope on the table. Elena looked up, calm but triumphant. Finally. Harper's voice dropped, icy. Don't think this means you've won. Elena's smile was tight. This isn't a game anymore, Harper. It's survival. Harper sneered. We'll be back. Not if you're smart, Elena replied coolly. That evening, Liam called. Mom, please. Think about Mia. Don't make this harder. Elena's throat tightened. Mia is your daughter, Liam. Not mine, yet. Please, Liam begged. We're desperate. Elena's voice was firm. You betrayed me. You made your choices. I know, Liam whispered. And I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this, Elena said. If you want a relationship with Mia, it has to be honest. No more lies. Liam's silence was broken only by the crackle of the line. Meanwhile, Liam and Harper's finances spiraled. Creditors hounded them. The house remained on the market, but buyers were scarce. Word spread about the legal limbo and looming foreclosure. Elena began preparations to return home. She sorted through boxes stored at Tasha's, gathering photographs, keepsakes, old garden tools. One afternoon, as she sat on the porch steps, the memories came flooding back. Her husband's laughter, Mia's first steps, holidays filled with warmth. She called Mia's school and arranged a small gathering to reconnect with neighbors and friends. This was more than a house. It was a home waiting to heal. The night before moving back, Elena sat with Tasha and Devin on the porch, wrapped in blankets against the chill. Tomorrow, Elena said, I'm going home. Tasha smiled. You earned it. Devin nodded. And the best is yet to come. Elena looked up at the stars. For the first time in weeks, hope was more powerful than fear. Walking into Sunny's cafe for her first shift, Elena was overwhelmed by nostalgia. The smell of roasted coffee beans and fresh pastries wrapped around her like a warm hug. Sunny, the owner, greeted her with a radiant smile. Elena, it's so good to have you back. Elena smiled back, heart fluttering. It feels good to be here. The work was hard, early mornings, non-stop customers, but the rhythm gave her a sense of purpose. New friendships formed over spilled coffee and shared stories. Encouraged by Tasha and Devin, Elena started filming her story, raw, unfiltered. Her YouTube channel quickly gained traction. I'm not just telling my story, Elena said in one video, eyes fierce. I'm telling our story, anyone who's been betrayed, who's been pushed out, who's been told they're no longer welcome. You are not alone. Comments flooded in. Your courage is inspiring. Thank you for showing us how to fight back. I'm going through this too, your videos give me strength. Elena responded to messages, building a community of survivors and fighters. Back at home, Elena hosted a garden party under a sky sprinkled with stars. Twinkling fairy lights dangled from branches, and a soft breeze carried laughter and music. Friends, neighbors, and cafe regulars mingled, sharing food and stories. Elena raised her glass. To those who think they can break us, think again. The crowd cheered. As the party buzzed around her, Mia approached quietly. Grandma, she said softly. Elena knelt, opening her arms. I've been waiting for you, she whispered. In that moment, the house wasn't just bricks and mortar. It was a sanctuary rebuilt by love, strength, and